how you guys can be sure you are buying the right used car, because it's more about, is this the correct car? Is this all worth it, that you're forking out every penny? Is it worth every penny that you're spending? I'm going to go through some of the things before you kind of go out and see the used car, because I'm talking about used car, even same, so never be fooled. Okay, so before you go out to view the car, I highly recommend that you tell the owner, that you tell the dealership it's cold start, car is clean. That's the standard protocol. Secondly, so let's get onto it here. What we will say, once you get there, obviously, what we recommend is that you check around the vehicle and see if, like, in terms of gaps, panels, so all these panels here, make sure they all match. Bodywork, obviously, that's something that whether the dealership has declared with yourselves or hasn't, that's between you and them. Make sure there hasn't been any previous work accident damage. Obviously you can tell by the gaps, making sure this is equidistant to the other side, that these panels are equidistant. These are the things you would look out for on an accident car. Obviously if the car's not had an accident, the other thing we say, okay, that's fine, that's passed the test, is check the engine. What we would always say is check. Another thing as well to check for in terms of panels to see if they've been opened or not is to check these screws, because if they've been tampered with, these front panels or the bonnet, you will see paint flaking off them. So the bolts will never be like that. Check for brackets to see if they haven't been broken. Once you have checked them, they're all fine. That's always about front end damage or a rear end damage. You've got to check these bolts here to see if these haven't been tampered with as well, because if they have, these are all questionable things. Make sure the pillar, they're all fine. In terms of, I've seen many cars as well. I've seen many cars from here, from the boot, looks perfect, no issues, all good. But when I've opened it up in the boot, this kind of sticks. There's a big massive click. And then looking at this, all looks fine. But there's quite a rigid, solid unlock, if you know what I mean. And then once we've looked under it, I mean, what they've done is fixed all this. Once we've looked under it, underneath, we've realised that the reinforcement is bent. So it's had a previous repair and they've just kind of made sure on the outside all looks fine. So please do check underneath, make sure the reinforcement's nice and curved or straight as it should be, and how it left manufacture. And this is another sign. Okay, so back to the front, back to the mechanical side of it, should we say. When you look, the car hasn't been started. That's one of the deals. That's one of the first things I always say. Make sure the car hasn't been started in any way. If it has, walk away. Simple as that, because that means something's not right within the engine. It's like, how do I put it? So it's like us as humans waking up in the morning and then me telling you to do a 100-meter sprint. Nah, you want to know, you want to hear what the engine will actually sound like at a cold start. So we'll look at this, make sure that there is no oil mixed in this. I've already ran this car, so I'm not going to open this because it'll explode in my face. But make sure that there is no sign of oil. It's not greasy. Check here. Make sure that it's not milky. Head gasket issues. Check the dipstick. Make sure the oil is right. And also, if it's diesel, obviously in this case, check the injectors, see if they aren't leaking. If there is injector leak, you got to account for it. And then check for other things, such as oil leak. It's best if you have a torch, like a quite bright torch. BMs are known for rocker red leak. Luckily, this one's brilliant, no issues. Check, this is a 2-litre diesel, by the way, so check for oil leak, check for the gearbox oil leak, look underneath the car if you can. And if you think, oh, I ain't got a ramp, I ain't got this, no problem. Find a curb that's quite high up, full up the wheel, drive onto the curb, so the front wheel's on the curb, the rest of the car's on the road. This will lift it up and then just, pop your head underneath, check underneath, make sure the under tray is there, nothing's been played about with, everything's in line. There are many other factors as well we could look out for, to be fair with you. But these are the main things. This is why we're make sure a car hasn't been started. But another brilliant piece of kit that I do recommend, and I'll put it in the description below as well, is it's like a diagnostic tool. Honestly, the amount of cars I have viewed in the past year or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever you want to mention, it's incredible what people do. honestly, people just think it's a joke. Yeah, it was fine. It was just like that. You know, it just started. It wasn't like that before. Nonsense. I've heard it all. I really have. And what I recommend is you buy a diagnostic tool. Guys, honestly, the diagnostic tool is brilliant. Is the most, I don't know how to explain it, but it's the best investment you can ever have. Why? Because I've been to cars that have got camshaft issues, has got mechanical issues that the seller's trying to, has done a reset. So let's say a DPF issue. It's quite an expensive issue. But for me, it's not. I'll sort it out, no issue. But for you, as the general public, it is a big issue. Why? Because it'll cost you hundreds or even thousands at the very worst. So what people do, use a diagnostic, reset it, and it's all right for a day or two, and then boom, pops up again later on down the line. So if you have a diagnostic, it'll tell you it's like intermittent. When it says intermittent, then that means there's something going on. Or camshaft. I've seen it. It comes with a camshaft, so the car runs fine, everything's fine. Suddenly, the engine will cease, or suddenly something will happen, or a warning will come up, and that's going to be very costly. So that's why we say have a diagnostic machine, because it really is handy, and it tells you things that even us as mechanics, I am not clever, but trust me, when that diagnostic machine picks up things, it ain't stupid. It knows there's something going on, so we need to check. So once you've looked around it, everything fine, make sure you turn the car on yourself, as in a cold start. Turn it on, listen to the engine. Obviously, there's always a cold start. The engine's going to be a bit harsher than normal. And then come round to the back of the car. Make sure that it's not smoking abnormally. So like blue smoke, black smoke. So blue smoke is like burning oil. White smoke is like cooling issue, like the head gasket and whatnot we said. Black smoke, as far as I remember, is rich fuel mixture, okay? And then just do a test drive as well. Make sure you're insured, everything's fine. And the good thing is as well, when I say the diagnostic machine, is that diagnostic machine nowadays picks up a VIN chassis. When it picked up the VIN chassis, honestly, I've had it before. And these are people trying it on. I kid you not. Went to view a car. Guy's like, yeah, it's all fine. I'm serious, this is a legit, scenario. And the guy's like, it's fine, all good. I'm just selling it because my missus, don't drive it. It's too big for her. Nonsense. Okay. Plugged in the machine. The VIN chassis on the logbook matched. Which, okay, you think, okay, fair enough. But the VIN chassis that came back on the diagnostic was a completely different car. And that raised alarm bells. Obviously, it's not for me to decide, but, you can tell they're trying it on. So you move away, you walk away. There's no point arguing. It is what it is. But at least you don't, spend thousands. But it's worth every penny. So it's always good to be vigilant. So on a test drive, things you need to look out for, personally, I'd say is make sure the car's solid. There's no knocks or noise. There's no clunky noise within the wishbones, within the steering rack, within the suspension. Make sure it's quite solid. And do a motorway drive. I don't care what you tell me, you have to do a motorway drive. If you don't, then you'll never be able to know what this car is capable of, because I've seen it within under 30, 40 miles an hour. Cars are alright, but when you start pushing it 60, 70, cars start to lose power. Cars start to go through a lot of more. Or wheels aren't tracked or bearings. Do you know what I mean? Start to hear things that we weren't aware of, in other words. So that's why we say do a thorough drive, go through the gear. If it's auto, obviously let it do the auto, and then if it's got paddle shift, use the paddle shifts as well. Do some brake checks, harsh brake checks. Obviously it's somewhere safe where there's no cars behind you, just as if you were getting your license. Check engine light. Shouldn't stay on, it should be off. These new cars, obviously, right, I'm going to be straight up. So these new cars, you can't fool it, because if you try and black the engine light, it will come on the drivetrain. However, I'm just going to show you this car. So 2 or 3 of these cars. So for example, this Subaru, I can black the light, anyone can black the light, nobody can tell. The BMW M3 there, you can blank the light, nobody will ever know. That's why we get the diagnostic, because somebody could blank it and you are screwed. Long story short, new cars, you're all right to a degree, because it will come up. It's all LCD screen, LED screen, should we say, so nothing to worry about. And then body structure, we've already discussed, to be fair with you. Tyres, make sure there's enough tyre depth. Make sure there's enough pads in there. these are like costly. You don't think about it at the time when you're buying it. Sometimes you just think, oh, it's a nice car, I'm going to buy it. And then you realize, oh, God, I've got to spend $1,000 or two just to, you know, get it back to normal. But yeah, there are things. And then see, you got to check this interior. You got to make sure the seats aren't ripped, the carpet's okay. And some people, I've realised, to be fair, some really cheeky people out there. I've realised over the years, like, I've become a pro at this now, so I know who tries it on and who doesn't. But they'll put a carpet there, and what you don't realise is underneath here is actually got a big nice hole in, whereas this one's okay. But remember to check everything, you know, every detail. I can't like stress how much people do try it on nowadays. But yeah, any questions, pop in the comments below. If I've missed anything, I can only apologise. You know, the brain only takes on so much. We are humans, at the end of the day, we make mistakes. But if you're unsure, there's a lot of companies that go check cars that I feel like the AA, the RSE. Again, sometimes they're alright, but sometimes they're not. But it's always best to, you know, be